What's up everyone, welcome to the TPI Movement Screen. The first test we're going to go through is a pelvic tilt test. Okay, so we're going to look at your ability to anterior rotate your pelvis and then posterior tilt your pelvis. So the easiest way to do this is to tuck your shirt in and then get a side view, okay? And now from here, we're just going to get into 5-iron posture. Okay, so we're going to start in 5-iron posture, and then the first thing we want to do is we want to try to posterior tilt and create an arch in our back, and then anterior tilt. All right, so posterior tilt, anterior tilt, posterior tilt, anterior tilt, and then find neutral. All right, that's the pelvic tilt test in the TPI Movement Screen. What's up everyone? This is the second movement in the TPI Movement Screen that we're going to go through. Okay, this is the pelvic rotation test. So we're going to get into a similar position here where we're in our 5-iron posture. And from there, we're just going to cross our arms, and then all we want to do without rotating our upper body at all, we want to see if we can rotate just the lower body. Okay, so a good view for this is actually from the back. Okay, so look right at the waistline, and then all you want to see rotate is my pelvis without my upper back or my shoulders moving at all. All right, that is the second movement screen in the TPI. What's up everyone? This is the third movement in the TPI movement assessment that we're going to go through. Okay, this is the sister screen to the pelvic rotation test. Now we're just going to see if we can rotate the torso. All right, so same 5-iron posture here. Cross those arms. Now without moving the pelvis, we're going to see if we can rotate the torso. All right, speed does not matter. You do not need to go fast. All right, and then from the back view, again, this is a good way to look at it. Make sure your waistline is not moving, and then make sure your torso is able to disassociate from the lower body. All right, that's the third exercise in the TPI movement screen. What's up everyone? Welcome to the fourth movement in the TPI movement assessment that we're going to go through. For this movement, we're going to need a club, a broomstick, a PVC pipe, okay, something pretty long and straight. All right, so in order to get into this overhead deep squat, we're going to rest that item right on our head, and then we want to create a 90-degree angle with our elbow on both sides. From there, we want our feet shoulder width apart, and we need them pointing forward. All right, those are all requirements so that when we retest, we can go off of the same thing. All right, the best view for this is going to be down the line because we're looking at two things. We're looking at our hips ability to get below our knees, and then we're looking at whether or not we can keep our arms straight up overhead or if they come pretty far forward. Okay, so for me, I have a little bit of upper back tightness, so my hands tend to come forward. All right, so we're getting into that position here. Hands will be right here, arms straight up, down into that squat, and back up. All right, so for someone like myself, I would do a part 2 to this test. I would remove the club up overhead. I'd get into that same position. Fingers will touch right behind the neck, elbows in front, and we're going to try to break parallel again. All right, and now if we're able to break parallel without the club, then it could be an upper body problem. If we're still struggling to get down to parallel or below parallel with and without the club, then it could be an ankle, knee, or hip issue. All right, that's the fourth movement of the TPI movement assessment. What's up everyone? We're gonna go over the fifth movement in the TPI movement assessment. Okay, that's gonna be the toe touch. Pretty standard test across the board. Okay, we're gonna get our feet together. We're gonna keep our knees locked out straight, and we're gonna see if we're able to hinge those hips back and touch the toes. Okay, if someone's able to quickly touch the toes, they pass the test and move on. If they're not able to touch the toes, we're going to look to see if this is a unilateral or a bilateral problem. Okay, so from there, we can just test 1 foot at a time, hands together. Say they're able to touch on the left side, but not able to touch on the right side. That would be a unilateral problem. If they can't touch either way, unilateral or bilateral, then you would just use that as a bilateral failure of that movement screen. All right, this is the 5th movement of the TPI movement assessment. What's up, everyone? This is the 6th movement of the TPI movement assessment, and we're going to test our single leg balance. Okay, so balance comes from 3 things. It comes from our vision, it comes from our inner ear or our vestibular system, and it comes from our internal GPS or our proprioceptors. Okay, so what we want to challenge is that internal GPS. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our feet together. Hands are going to be by our side, but not against our body. Okay, just by our side. And we're going to lift one knee to 90 degrees. Okay, from there, get comfortable while you still have your vision. And then we're going to do a quick test. We're going to shut our eyes for 2 seconds and then open back up. And then once you're ready, you're going to test this single leg balance with no vision. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes and hold. All right, the goal is longer than 16 seconds. All right, so if someone's able to complete 16 seconds in this position without going into an airplane or hopping around, okay, that's how you pass the single leg balance test of the TPI movement screen. What's up, everyone? This is the 7th movement in the TPI movement assessment. And for this lower quarter rotation test, we're going to need 2 clubs. Okay, one of them has to be a 6-iron, and then any other club in your bag. First things first, you're going to lay that 6-iron down flat in front of you, and then you're going to run the other club along the leading edge of that 6-iron. Okay, that's going to create a 60-degree angle for us, and that's going to be our quantitative goal in this test. So first things first, we're going to get our feet perpendicular to the 6-iron. Okay, you can take your shoes off for this test. I have barefoot shoes on, so I'm just going to leave those on. And then we're going to put our right foot into that kickstand position. All right, and then from there, I'm going to rotate towards the club that's lying along that 6-iron. And I'm going to see if I can internally rotate. I'm a lefty, so internally rotate in my backswing. Okay, then I'm going to switch my feet and again test that rotation in the lower half. All right, from there, you're going to flip things around. So you're going to test the backswing and you're going to test the downswing. All right. So now, if we're looking at it from this angle, we're going to do the same thing, just rotating the other way, but with both feet in that kickstand position. So I like to start with the outside foot in that position, internally rotate into that hip. For me, that's on the downswing. And then we'll switch. And now we're seeing if I can externally rotate on the back leg. All right, that's the lower quarter rotation test in the TPI movement screen. Hey everyone, and welcome to the 8th movement in the TPI movement assessment. Okay, so this is the lat test, or what we're really testing is our ability to put our shoulders through flexion. Okay, reach up overhead. We're going to use a wall for this assessment, and we're going to get into a little bit of a quarter squat. All right, whatever position you sort of need to be in order to really push your lower back into the ground. All right, from there, we're going to see if we're able to tap our thumbs to the wall behind us, keeping our arms straight. Okay, keeping our arms straight and not letting that lower back come off the ground. All right, if you're able to do that, you pass the test. If you're not, we can look at a few different things and put you into a few different buckets, whether you are below the nose, covering the nose, in between the nose and the wall, or touching the wall. Okay, that's the 8th movement within the TPI movement assessment. What's up, everyone? This is the 9th movement we're going to look at in the TPI movement assessment. This is the 90-90 test. Okay, so here we're looking at the ability to externally rotate the shoulder. I'm a lefty, so I'm going to show you my dominant arm. But what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves into this 90-90 position. Okay, so in the armpit, we've created a 90-degree angle. And then with the elbow, or the humerus and the forearm, we've also created a 90-degree angle. Now, all we're going to look at is, can we get past 90 degrees here? Okay, so can we get behind that line? All right, If you can get behind that line, you pass the test. If you're even to that line or less than 90 degrees, then that would be failure of the test. Now it's good that we're able to do that standing up, but we also need to be able to do that within our golf swing. So let's find that 5-iron posture, and then again, try to create those 90-degree angles here, and then we're going to test external rotation in the 5-iron posture. All right, do this on both arms, test both sides, and also test in the 5-iron posture and standing up straight. That's the 9th movement of the TPI movement screen. What's up, everyone? This is the 10th movement in the TPI movement assessment, and this is the cervical rotation test. Okay, so we're looking at our neck's ability to rotate. All right, in order to pass this test, we're going to close our mouths, okay, and we're going to try to tap our chin right to our collarbone. Okay, so okay, if you're able to do that, you pass that test. And that is the 10th exercise in the TPI movement screen. What's up, everyone? This is the 11th movement in the TPI movement assessment. And in this video, we're going to look at the ability to flex our wrist and extend our wrist. All right, so an easy way to do this is from the down the line view. And we're just gonna reach both our wrists out, making a fist. All right, so if I were doing this with you in person, I could use a 6-iron or a godiometer to try to look for 60 degrees, but we're trying to shoot for 60 degrees of flexion and extension on both wrists. Okay, so we can test flexion first, and we'll just reach down. All right, that's going to be important for the leading wrist on the downswing. All right, and then we can also test extension at the same time up. And again, that's going to be important on the backswing and the downswing of the backside arm. Okay, so that is the flexion and extension test. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 12th movement within the TPI movement assessment. And in this video, we're going to go over the wrist hinge test. Okay, so we're looking at the ability to deviate our wrist up and down. Okay, so radial deviation, ulnar deviation. Now, this is a qualitative test. We're not looking for a certain amount of range of motion. We're just looking for the ability to hinge those wrists. All right, so we're going to come right here, elbows by our side, thumbs up to the sky. We're going to pull our thumbs back, okay, deviate our wrists up and then down. Up and then down. All right, that's the 12th movement assessment within the TPI movement screen. What's up, everyone? This is the 13th movement within the TPI movement screen, and in this video we're going to look at our ability to pronate and supinate our wrists, okay, or our forearms. So best way to set up for this test is elbows right by our side, okay, thumbs up to the sky, and then in order to supinate our wrist, we're going to go palms up, okay, and then to pronate our wrist, we're going to go palms down. All right, the reason we can't do this with a straight arm is because our shoulder can rotate for us. All right, so we need to keep those elbows by our side. We're looking for at least 80 degrees here. Okay, so we want to go palms up. For me, I get to about 90 degrees right there. And then for palms down, I'm right around 75, 80 degrees. Okay, that's the wrist pronation supination test within the TPI movement screen. What's up, everyone? This is the 14th movement that we're going to screen in the TPI movement assessment, okay? This is the seated trunk rotation test. So for this test, we need 2 clubs and potentially a third if you have one, but at least 2 clubs. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create 90 degrees with our clubs just by crossing them perpendicularly, okay? Now we're gonna bring our seat or our box, whatever we have access to, and we're gonna meet that club right at its 90-degree angle. Okay, so what that's going to create for us is that's going to create, from where I am, a 45-degree angle in each direction. Okay, so in order to complete this test, you can take a third club, you can lay it across your shoulders, hands would be light, and then you would just rotate and make sure that you can get past that 45-degree angle there, and then same thing in the other direction. If If you don't have that third club, you can just cross those arms right across your shoulders here. You'll rotate, knees must stay together, and then you'll come back to center. Down to the other side, back to center, okay? If your knees come apart throughout any portion of that rotation, that's considered failure of the test, all right? That's the 14th movement inside the TPI Movement Screen. What's up everyone, and welcome to the final and 15th movement within the TPI Movement Screen. This one here, we're going to actually lay down on the ground and we're going to do a bridge test with a leg extension, all right? So in order to set up for this test, we're gonna get into a supine position on our back, okay? And then we're going to bridge our hips up, okay? So in order to do this properly, we wanna get our shins as perpendicular to the ground as possible, okay? And we want those knees together. From there, we're gonna lift our hips up, and then once we're comfortable in that position, we're going to extend one leg straight out. Okay, so what we're looking for with this test is instability within the pelvis, or any cramping in the hamstring, any pain in the lower back, all right? We are really looking to see if our glutes firing how it should be, if we're able to maintain our core and really use those glutes and core at the same time, all right? That's the 15th movement inside the TPI Movement Screen.